Baldur's Gate 3 has a setting that if you don't turn it off, it'll destroy your most powerful characters in a single round. At least that's what the story is going around Reddit again. And by again, I mean this story has been around for about 7 months. I knew about this this is about the karmic dice setting that's actually on by default when you start your game. And originally the post was made by akadavidxy 7 months ago. And he says, PSA, having the karmic dice setting turned on, which is by default, increases the damage you receive by up to 400%. Full data out of 1,369 rolls and charts linked in the post. I will link this and this other post down in the description so you can check it out for yourself. But Havelok 16 hours ago reminded everybody, and I would like to spread the word because it does bear mentioning that the karmic dice, which was added by Larian back a while back in early access, it was because a lot of people were getting bad rolls over and over and over again, and their roll system wasn't as good as I think that they wanted it to be. So they added a system that was on by default that would allow the game to fudge the rolls for you so you would succeed more. So it's basically cheating for you. So in battle, however, they found that the higher your armor class of your character, the more that you were getting critically hit, because not only does the karmic dice system work for you, but it also works for the enemy. So that is something that you need to take into account if you're going into a battle. If you have karmic dice clicked on, let me show you where it's at in the settings so you can turn it on and off. So just hit escape, go to options, and under gameplay, scroll down, and it's right here. It's clicked right here. Just got to click it off, hit apply, and then you can go back into your game and you can continue with what you're doing. Now, according to akadavidxy, the TLDR of it is this. If you have karmic dice setting enabled, enemies will hit and crit you significantly more often than they should. They cheat, and the effect increases with your armor class. With an armor class of 23, you take 4 times as much damage than you should at this armor class, making any tank build effectively useless. Charts are provided in the link at the bottom, and I will click on that in just a minute. So basically, guys, everyone that is on YouTube right now or on Reddit that is looking for character builds, they're looking for optimized builds. They're looking for min-max builds for the most part. Maybe they're just looking for fun builds. That's fine. That's probably going to be the the smaller percentage of people, but the more hardcore people want to know, hey, how can I beat my enemies as quickly as possible? And one of the main ways of doing that is to have a high armor class, because it's harder for you to be hit. However, with the karmic dice system, it's making you actually easier to be hit, and when they do, they crit you more often, so you are taking more damage. So it says that he recently did multiple solo playthroughs, and he wanted to do a defensive as possible playthrough. Notice that how it was quite a struggle, and of course the game is not intended to be played through with a single character. Although having completed the EA with multiple other builds, I noticed that this playthrough was significantly more difficult, and I had to reload a lot. And I don't know if you saw the panel from hell, but one of the developers was going through with just Shadowheart. He had gone through the Dark Urge and he got a very dark playthrough, killed off all of his characters, and he's going through solo. So this is actually a viable thing that might happen in your playthrough if you're doing a dark playthrough. You might go through single, and if you do, this will affect you. With the wikis, etc., I researched my setup beforehand quite well and achieved an armor class of 23 early on, which should have made me basically unhittable for most enemies. However, even early enemies still hit me from around 30 to 40% chance. This is when I started to analyze what was going on. So he did a data collection method. I'm not going to go through all of it. We're going to make this short. And this is his character. He used a level 4 halfling because that's the highest we could get in early access. He said at least 100 attacks for AC 15, 17, 19, 20, 21, 19, 21, 23, both with karmic dice enabled and disabled. So he counted 1,369 rolls. Now, each one of these armor classes, he wrote down 150 rolls for each data set. So he's saying that the data is quite clear, but it's not a gigantic pool. But I'd say that the empirical evidence is here. I'd say that his receipts are counted. So it said, in reality, when you look at the dice rolls, you will see that the enemies will hit you more often than they should, and not only by a bit, but actually significantly. The dice results are consistently too high. The average dice rolls should be at 10.5. However, it was around 12.5, and the higher your AC is, the more critical hits take. up to 15% instead of 5%, meaning enemies that have crit me 3 times as much as they should. Since crits do double damage, the effect of this in terms of damage is actually 2 times as strong. It's a bit difficult to grasp the data at once, which is why I calculated back from the number of hits generated with the karmic dice rolls. I calculated to which AC would correspond. To AC, this would correspond if the enemies were using normal dice. So if I had an armor class of 15 and an enemy had a modifier of 0, he would need to roll a 15 to hit and a 20 to crit. That's normal. So the expected hit chance is 25% and the expected crit chance is 5%. That's normal. Once we collected the data, we noticed that we got a hit in 45% of the attacks, a crit in 5%. Then we can say that this corresponds with an AC of 11 with normal dice. In short, in that case, an AC of 15 plus karmic dice equals a armor class of 11 with normal dice. So that's an armor class difference of 4. That's an armor class penalty of 4. Basically, if you had an armor class of 15 with the karmic dice, you really only have an armor class of 11. So in other words, if you had an armor class of 23 with karmic dice turned on, you only have an armor class of 17. That's not cool. Not at all. That blows optimized builds and min-max builds out the window. So that turns your tank into tissue paper. Okay, it says an armor class penalty of 4 to 6 might sound bad at first, but not too bad. However, if you do the maths, so he's not American. No, not that I have anything against people who aren't American. This actually increases the expected damage vastly. The higher your equipped AC, the stronger the effect. I provided the damage number as a range. It depends on the hit modifier of the enemy. Full data in the link. Conclusion, even though the data set might not be large enough for precise results, it is quite clear that in the current version of the game, karmic dice impose a massive penalty on the player, in particular if you run a tanky high AC character. You take 4 times as much damage than you should, meaning that you could easily get wiped out in a single round when you should actually have lived for 4 rounds, giving you the option to heal, etc., meaning you wouldn't even die at all. So if you want even a somewhat fair experience, you got to turn off karmic dice. That's the TLDR of it. And the full data chart, let me go ahead and take a look right quick. All right, so yeah, expected AC, the red dots are karmic observer AC. The yellow dots are non-karmic dice observed AC, and then he did all this. Now I'll let you look at this. I'll link it down below. There's a lot of other stuff in here. Look at this. I mean, they went through a lot of work, graphs, charts, the whole bit. I don't really personally, I don't care. I'll take them at their word, and I'm going to turn off karmic dice. My advice to you is this: turn off your karmic dice when you're in battle. When you're in battle. When you're out of battle or you're in a social situation, turn it back on. I mean, if you want to get through persuasion rolls or intimidation rolls or things like that, when you're not actually in battle, and you could actually literally, if a battle started. Now I don't know if it will take into effect your option immediately, but let's say you got into battle right now, you go to options, you should be able to click off karmic dice and hit apply, and it should save your change, and you should be able to go into battle, and it should be normal. And then when you get out, or maybe if you're about ready to get into a roll, stop what you're doing, go back into options, go ahead and click karmic dice back on, so you can have a better dice roll if you want to say romance a character. I mean, that's up to you. Really, the whole game is up to you. Whatever you want to do. I'm giving you options, and the TLDR, I think, needed to be spread around, so that's why I did this video. So anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go there. Hopefully this helped you out. If it did, give us a thumbs up, and if I've earned your subscription, don't forget to hit that bell icon for notifications. As I always say, I am my usual me, you be your usual you, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and thank you guys for that Reddit post. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.